I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here with Michelle Czernin, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you so very much for having me. I'm honored.
Now, for people who want to know what Uncensored is, Uncensored's my way of showing people that even if we're in a disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there, deaf, blind, or in a wheelchair. But you should never label yourself or have people label you. You need to prove to them you can still amount to something. Now, with that being said, and it's a half-hour talk show, but you have as much time as you like, and it's whatever you want to do.
Well, do you have any questions that you'd like to start with?
Well, actually, the easy ones, but then we can always go to the hard-hitting ones. But let's just change it.
Let's start easy.
Well, let's just change it up. I noticed that you're a CEO of your own company. What can you tell us about that?
I am. I have a boutique public relations, marketing, and branding company, publicity as well. We're based in Los Angeles from one called Popular Press Media Group, or the acronym is PPMG. And our focus is, we have four essential wheelhouses that we work in. The most important, and we've been very blessed to be able to pick and choose the clients that we work with. And at that, we like to see them all work together. So we work in the areas of entertainment, which includes film companies, filmmakers, talent, distribution companies. Then we work in the political, both domestic and international arena. We work in the philanthropic side, and of course, then we work with philanthropy, charities, and we work, of course, with corporations as well. And we've had the company for 6 years now, 7 years. And my business partner joined me about 3.5, 4 years ago. And I believe actually you interviewed her a little while ago, and that was Jessica Kell.
Yes, she helped me do a demo interview.
Yes. And you've done so many since then. It's fantastic.
Now, for people who like to know, what exactly do you specialize in?
Well, it really depends on the needs of our clients. We work, it really depends on the needs of the clients. Publicity and public relations and marketing and branding, they're so close now in many ways, but they're also very distinctive. And our team, whether it's a feature film, and at that, using a feature film as an example, we have two extraordinary clients that we're working with right now. One is a gentleman by the name of Kirk Shaw, who I've known for many years and has almost executive produced close to 200 projects, and another producer who has come out of the gate unbelievably winning a Best Feature award on his first film is Jeffrey Patterson. And, in the various stages of the movies that these gentlemen are doing, amongst the many other clients that we have, but as an using them as an example, it's a different style of awareness when you're announcing a film and introducing it to what we call the trades, which are the industry relevant trade magazines. So if you're in the motion picture industry, those trades are Hollywood Reporter, they're Variety, they're Screen International, Business and Film. I mean, the list, Screen Daily, the list goes on. And many of the websites have become as powerful as once upon a time print was. So you have The Wrap, you have Deadline, and a lot of the what started off as pop culture sites have now become key anchor sites, and those range from IndieWire to Slate and Cinema Blend and Ain't It Cool and their Joe Blow's entire world to movie news to, and then the list coming soon, Mirko, who's running that, and runs also a whole ton of other relevant sites. So those have become, if you're in the tourism business, it depends on what our clients' needs are. What are they looking to achieve? And then you go through production, and then as you're going into starting to sell the film, or whether they've secured distribution or sold what they call territories, so different parts of the world, again, it requires a different sort of exposure, and again, a very unique exposure as you're going to, as you're actually going to market. How are you going to get bodies into the theaters? How are you going to get people to download your movie? It's such a cliche, but the phrase, if a tree falls in the forest, who's going to know about it? And there are the most astounding creative talents in this business, and they're creating films and music and art and literary works. And if nobody knows about it, unfortunately, it's a world where you can create a lot of it yourself, but if no one knows about it, the likelihood of something happening with it or becoming the anchor to what somebody does, like what you're doing, the fact that you reached out to us and you endured scheduling challenges and made that happen, but you are also realizing there's so many, you built yourself a website, you started looping in on Skype, you figured out, you know how to record on Skype and put those up, and recognizing that there's value in what you're creating, and utilizing all of these forums that you can share with people. And once that gets going and somebody looks at it, and like you said in the introduction, it's episode 165. That's a long way in a very short period of time that you've come. And your momentum is going to get out there. That creativity that touches all of us and makes the world go around is tantamount. So that's really what we do, is we shine a spotlight. And our creativity, I think, really falls into line with finding audiences and helping, again, the audience, it may be an audience of one. And if it's an audience of one that believes in what you're doing, they become your champion. And you can fame and awareness and notoriety and on a corporate angle, having validation and having strength behind your name in terms of a corporate name is literally built one person at a time. And it's once you start really securing a few champions for you, who you're doing or what you're doing or what your product is, it's extraordinary how quickly the ball can roll, especially with social media these days. It's mind-blowing.
That's true.
That's a very long answer to a short question.
No, that's fine. Now, for an imperfect example, what I'm doing, would I fall under the category of someone you want to work with, or it's not in the same category?
It is. It really depends on our timing as well, and your timing, and budgets, and what's available, and it's how much. Budgets always boil down to how much staff time is required on it, and how many people can we allocate, and what's needed, and how. It's a different program to create awareness versus introducing something. So in your case, you may be better suited to being on one of our consulting programs, because it depends on how much needs to be done. You've built a base now, and are you going to promote your show, and what do you want to do with your show? Where do you want to take it? Where do you see it ultimately being? who do you want to target interviewing? I mean, all of these questions fall into that process. And we would sit down and ultimately we sit down and we meet with everyone and all of our potential clients, and we assess whether they fit within the fold of what exists at this moment, because that's where we see organically we bring together synergies, and that's invaluable for us.
Well, if you're interested, I would love to work with you.
Well, we'll have to talk about that afterwards. I'd love to. We'll have a conversation.
Now, going back to the easy questions, it's what can you tell me about yourself? Like, first off, how did you create this company, and what motivated you? And the second part is, what can you tell us about yourself?
That's a very broad question. What motivated the start of PPMG was a need to promote a film that I had produced. I produced a movie which was will come in part two of that, and I needed to sell the movie, and in order to do that we had to create a campaign. And having never been a publicist before, I think I did absolutely everything the wrong way and backwards, which was probably the biggest blessing that I could have done, because it allowed me to approach things in a unique fashion. And I certainly approached with absolute honesty and being very earnest about my intention, and it was so incredibly well received that I realized that I was I'm almost better suited at this than I am producing movies. But I had started by, in terms of my own background, I have a very blessed and unique background. I grew up sailing partially around the world on a sailboat, and when we came back and I was moving into where I was going to see my career evolve, I tiptoed into politics in terms of being an aide to a minister, and then just followed suit with the rest of my family. My sister's a radio show host for CBC in Canada, and my other sister is an extraordinary production coordinator on the series called The Flash, which is on CW right
Yes.
now? CW. She's the production coordinator on that, and my brother-in-law is an extraordinary director by the name of Brenton Spencer, who has directed hundreds of hours of network television and a litany of movies. And my stepbrothers in Europe are, both cinematographers, and my brother-in-law, Brenton, was actually also a cinematographer. I'm so sorry, I've got terrible allergies today. And so I ended up following suit with the rest of the family, and I think most of my family, they're either in the media business or they're in banking. So it was one of the two, and this is a segue of that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. What about for sports? Were you ever athletic? Was there ever sports you ever wanted to do?
I'm very athletic. Not as much now. Unfortunately, the athletics are my fingers clacking on a keyboard now. And occasionally being able to, if I were to turn the screen around, I'm actually sitting in one of our colleagues' desk right now as my office is busy. So all of these awards are unfortunately not mine. They're all Shannon O'Shea's. But we're a stone's throw away from Runyon Canyon right now in Beverly. Our office is on Sunset Boulevard, and we're very, very close to getting over to Runyon Canyon. So when I can, I try to get out of the office and do that. But I was very fortunate to do a lot of sports when I was younger. As much as I could.
What about, did he ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or not a human pyramid girl?
A human pyramid. Oh, is that where everybody balances each other? I
Right.
did, actually, because I was an acrobat for a while, so that was one of my fitness outlets. I was not a floor gymnast, but I was part of a touring acrobatics team by sheer happenstance. So we did all sorts of pyramids.
Well,
I don't know that I really did them very well, but
Right.
I did them.
well, were you on the top, the bottom, the middle?
I was always on the bottom. I'm very tall and strong, so I was never the petite one that got to be at the top, unfortunately.
Well, you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I know, I love the human pyramid stuff. I know, I'm a loser.
You're not at all. It's just, I never actually was in. I didn't go to school like everybody normally does, because I was on a boat. I was attempting to do a lot of correspondence, which didn't really go over terribly well. I'm actually working right now, also in correspondence, I'm doing my master's degree via online courses right now. So beyond work, it's like what you're doing. You're balancing all of these worlds, and you're doing a spectacular job of it. And, I mean, we're all sort of in the same boat.
I agree with you. I am working on a project. Would you be interested in working together on it?
Well, I would love to know more about it. I probably not during this moment in this forum, but afterwards, yes, definitely share it with me.
I will.
That sounds like a good idea.
Then the next question I was going to ask you was, what was your greatest accomplishment with your company?
That's a very good question. Gosh, there are so many. I would love to poll Jessica's opinion on that as well. We have done so many amazing things and worked with so many extraordinary people. And I think a lot of that, the question revolves around the question is quite a philosophical one, because how do you measure success and what do you consider an accomplishment? And I don't know that my measuring tools are the same as what everybody else, or what I say everybody else, but I really mean I don't necessarily measure something by how much money it made, or how many people liked it on Facebook, or I measure things by, were we able to create the message that we hope to create? Were we able to stir a conversation? Were we able to ultimately, was our client happy with what we did? And that, to me, is our greatest accomplishment. We're working today with people that we've worked with since the day we opened our doors, and that probably is the greatest honor, is that we built in-depth relationships with our clients, with media. Our clients are our friends. We've never ever looked for work. Our work has always been referred to us, and that, again, those are astounding things. What we've done for other people, it's really always a collaborative effort, because if we write something and someone doesn't choose to share that story, then it's all for naught. So every single thing we do, everything is a collaborative effort. Our clients trusting us to speak on their behalf and share their message to, the internal team here, our staff is so strong and so diligent and considerate and respectful and creative, and they're out-of-the-box thinkers. You can't look at the world the same way that you could 10 years ago because of social media. Everyone has a voice now. And how how that's crafted and who you trust to share your voice and your vision. I mean, we have some astounding allies in the media. We would be lost without them. There's no question. I mean, there are no gifts that suffice what these people all do to support us on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, annual basis. And, and then there's the audiences. We have friends that support us and come out and share. And again, if we post something and it's liked by 10 people, or it's shared by 5 people, or shared by 1,000 people, I mean, some of our clients are very, very high profile, and they'll say one thing on the media and it immediately gets 2,000 shares. I mean, it's quite astounding. So everything is, those are, I think, the fact that we have so much of a collaborative system, that would be my greatest accomplishment, I think.
Now, the other question I was going to ask is, how did you form your own fan base? Does that matter to you, or does it eventually happen over time?
Well, interestingly enough, Jessica, my business partner, and I have been quite social, and that really, for me, only started about 5 years ago. No, not even. 3 years ago. And we've done, in terms of our business side, we've just built it again, one person at a time. And as we became more social, I'm incredibly blessed and spoiled by a few designers that are locally based here. There's a purse designer by the name of Jill Milan that has given me so many beautiful, beautiful cut purses and clutches to carry, and a dress designer by the name of Galina Sobolov, who's done day wear, and another evening gown designer by the name of Sue Wong. And between these 3 women, I'm outfitted for all of these amazing events, and because of that, they've included me in some of their social media, and that, again, we're in a world where people are blogging and are very social. And my fiance now is an actor, and he just came off of, earlier this spring, he did a movie called 300, which is 300 Rise of the Empire, and he's a personality himself, so has been on the cover of many magazines and different things like that. And when we go out together, I mean, his fan base, once they started to figure out that I was going to be in his photos consistently, a lot of them came over and migrated and joined onto mine and our company's base. And then, of course, all the actors that we work with, like Billy Zane and Max Ryan from Death Race, and I mean, the guys are George Lazenby, James Bond, who's one of my favorites in the entire world. He's so fascinating and has some of the most scandalous stories you've ever heard. It's ideally I'll be able to get him on the show for you, but yeah, he has some scintillating stories to be told. That's for sure.
Well,
so that's how my personal fan base has grown.
Well, wrapping up, do you have any funny stories you would like to share, or anything you want to say to your fans and listeners?
How many stories am I allowed to share? It's terrible. Oh my goodness, I'm blushing just at the mere thought of it. I don't know that I'm really allowed to share any of the scintillating stories, but there's gonna be some very exciting things coming up this year, and I'm looking forward to working with you and having a lot of our talent and our filmmakers, have an opportunity to speak with you, and I'm excited to hear about your project. Actually, I'm not really, as I think that probably will be the most exciting for my fan base, is to find out what your secret is. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Dave, thank you so very much, Keith. It's exciting to be here, and I so appreciate, and I'm so honored that you reached out to connect with me.